She didn't walk into fashion to be accepted. She walked in to be seen.
Born in Guadalajara, Jocelyn Corona didn't grow up seeing models who looked like her, but she became one anyway.
Tall, curvy, and unapologetically herself, she turned hesitation into high fashion and reshaped the space with every step.
From her first department store advertisement to the cover of Elle Mexico.
From fear to fierce, her story is about more than beauty. It's about belonging.
Today, we finally sit down with the woman who left us speechless backstage at Siriano to hear the voice behind the presence and the heart behind the movement.
I feel like I have so many things to say, but I gotta say that I was on my way here and I was like, I don't think they realize it. I'm like such a big fan. So imagine you're 16-year-old coming home and being like, I think I can be a model because someone on the internet told me I can be a model. I'm like, what is my purpose? What am I really here for? What am I contributing to? What am I changing? What is my add-on into the fashion industry? Because if I die, I might as well have amazing stories and, you know, like a legacy that I want to leave and stand by. Well, to be honest, I never thought I can be a model. You know, I didn't grow up seeing people like me on. I feel like this is a lot of like, you know, of my colleagues, like plus size curve models history, because it's like you don't grow up seeing people like you.
And I was just standing there, like, you know.
Yeah, what do I do?
And she was like going around me like, oh, beautiful, this is beautiful. Oh my gosh, she's such a great model. I'm like, okay, that's what modeling is.
That's what they want. That's what they want.
Yeah. But then when I started to travel, and I'm like, that's not only thing they need, they actually need me to move. So I did learn.
Yeah. I just think we shouldn't be allowed to have an opinion about a body that is not yours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, let's just not go more forward. If no one is asking you for your opinion about their body, you shouldn't say it.
Fashion Host Podcast. So I first saw Jocelyn in person at Christian Siriano's show in this past February. And when I saw her, I had this total moment, oh my God, who is that? She just radiated this calm confidence. She was so beautiful, glowing. And I was standing there thinking, I want to talk to her. But you know, there's Fashion Week chaos, impossible to talk, right?
Yes, you were in the makeup chair and hair, and I tried to run after her to get her for camera us to interview her, but she was being pulled in every direction. Then she went to makeup, then rehearsal, wardrobe try, touch-ups, and she was all around the place and I couldn't catch her. But I said to myself, okay, we will have her for a full episode on the podcast.
Yes, and here we are now, without glam team interrupting us, without frantic calls for line-up, rehearsal, etc. It's just Jocelyn, us, and a lot to cover before Jocelyn has to run to fitting.
Yes, we're so glad you find time to talk to us, and I don't know what to say. Model, muse, movement maker, thank you so much and welcome to Fashion Host Podcast.
Thank you guys. What a beautiful introduction. I'm so happy to be here. And I feel like I have so many things to say, but I gotta say that I was on my way here and I was like, I don't think they realize it. I'm like such a big fan of you guys. Like,
Thank
you know, like until now, I see videos of your catwalks every time.
Thank you guys for making those videos.
And I'm like, so I was saying, I'm like, you know, I've done like, you know, multiple talks and, you know, but I was like, I'm nervous. And I think just because I know how much like this means to me, just because I've like, when I started modeling, I've always loved catwalks shows. And I've always seen all kind of like catwalks from like, you know, the 80s and 90s, like fashion documentaries. Like I love, that's like my best one. They're like, what do you want to do? I'm like, we should watch something fashion. And my friends are like, no, you know, we should do something. So growing up and seeing until now, you guys' career, it's so inspiring because I love it. And obviously fashion has changed. So I'm a little bit nervous because I'm like sitting with two fashion icons.
Thank you so much.
And I'm like,
But
if you
that
know,
is
you know.
This is introduction. I have a goosebumps.
No, I love it. I'm like, I think that's why I feel nervous because it's just more like, it's a full circle moment. You know, you see women performing and being this like beautiful canvas, and then I get to see it and talk to them. Like,
so all starts align.
Yes, and also for us, it's a big full circle because in previous seasons we spoke about inclusivity and diversity and everything, and now we're gonna have someone firsthand to tell us how was living it.
And before we go deep, I have a question for you. How would you explain to a 5-year-old what you're doing for a living?
How would I explain to a 5-year-old what am I doing? I have a 6-year-old sister. So I just say, I'm gonna go take some pictures and I'll be right back. She knows more than that. Now she knows everything. You know, she's like, oh, you get your hair, you get your makeup. My friends, and you know, they put clothes on you. Like, she's a model. I see you on TV. Like, I know what you do. But I think before she was just like, why are they always taking pictures of you? Why they take so many pictures of you? But now she knows, you know, that I'm a model. But I feel like when she was younger, I'll say like, I'm gonna go, they're gonna take pictures of me, and then I'll be back because they're back home in Mexico. So I don't see them as often. So she was like, why don't I see you? Like, what do you do for work?
So she understands that it's a job that you're doing.
She knows. She knows. I think because I left home when I was super young at 16, and I've been living, you know, overseas ever since. So I don't see them as much as I would love to. So they know what I do for work. So she understands that, you know, her big sister is like a model. Now she knows everything. Yeah.
And so let's go back to 16-year-old Jocelyn. How
did it all start? Like, why? First, why? Why did you decide to be a model? I assume you knew back then it's going to be a hard path.
To be honest, I never thought I can be a model. You know, I didn't grow up seeing people like me on. I feel like this is a lot of like, you know, of my colleagues, like plus size curve models history, because it's like you don't grow up seeing people like you on TV or, you know, so I never thought I could be a model ever. But I love beauty pageants. So I was always watching beauty contests. Like, you know, that was like a thing that my mom and I will share. So I knew the woman that I looked, are like beautiful and stunning. And I was like, I just love a fabulous woman, you know? So I've always had such a like eye for beauty. So I was like, I love them. Like, to be them, but I knew I could never be them because I never looked like that. I don't look like them.
So what happened that changed that perspective of
so growing up in Mexico, I knew I was different. I was tall. I always had curves. I looked different than my friends. I was always the tallest one. And people will say you should be a model because you're tall, but never, you know, because, you know, you're pretty or, you know, so it was like, oh, she should be a model just because she's tall, but I was not skinny, you know, that's just like the fact. And one day we had in Mexico this program, and it's like America's Next Top Model, but Mexico's Next Top Model. And then I had a Facebook, and I will follow the page just to see every day at the end of the show the pictures that they will take of the models. And then one day my actual manager that, you know, we still work together, he reached out to me and he was like, I think you can be a model. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what kind of model? I was like, well, in Europe and in the States, there's more diversity, and there is this movement.
That was 2015?
That was like, I can't even remember. That was like 10 years ago. And he was like, there is like plus size models, which means, you know, different size models. And I think you can fit perfectly in it. And I was like, you're joking, because I've never, ever seen anything like this. And he sent me a bunch of pictures of women that now I'm like, you know, I get to work with them and, you know, and I was like, oh, it is real, you know, like not in Mexico, but somewhere else, like in the States or in Europe, it does exist. Like there's models that look different. So very briefly, that was like the beginning of my story. He reached out, he was like, I think you can be a model. You have everything to be a model, a plus size model. And I think we should give it a try.
So you went to your parents?
I went to my parents. So imagine you're 16-year-old coming home and being like, I think I can be a model because someone on the internet told me I can be a model. And they were like, you're crazy, you know? But I get it because they were talking out of like, who told you can be a model and why will you believe them you
Because
can be
they
a
never heard
model?
of them.
Because we didn't have these references for so many years. So obviously we made sure everything was legit, which I think it's very important. You know, nowadays there is a lot of risk out there in social media. There is a lot of scams. So my parents were like, we have to make sure this is legit. We have to make sure this is, you know, right, who's this person that is talking to you? And then later on, Pablo, which is my manager, he found out that I was underage and he was like, oh my God, like, please, like, ask your parents to reach out to me. I need to talk to them.
Yeah.
I thought you was like 18 at least, or like 20. And, you know, I need to talk to them. And I was like, okay, cool. So we first make sure everything was, you know, a stable company, that it existed, that it was legit, and that it was not risk involved at all. And I'm from Guadalajara and the agency was in Mexico City. So I traveled from Guadalajara to Mexico City
By yourself?
by myself to give it a try. They gave me the option to bring my parents, but we couldn't afford it. So my parents were like, you can go, it's summer holidays, just go.
Was it your first time traveling alone?
I think it's my first time traveling alone, but it didn't feel that extreme because it was still in Mexico and it's just like an hour flight. And I was just so excited. You know, I was like, you know, someone thinks I can be a model. I don't think so. But, you know, my mom, I remember she said to my dad, if you don't let her go, she will always be upset and she will always remember this. So let's just let her go. Like, you know, you never know. And I never came back, literally.
Similar to mine, yeah.
So, went to Mexico City, and I was just so excited. And obviously when you get there, you have like the real cold reality of this might not be as fun or as exciting or as amazing as I thought it was gonna be.
What made you think that?
Well, just because at the beginning, I was the first plus size model that he ever represented. So no other agency was doing this. You know, no one had a model that it was even just a different size. So when I get to Mexico City and he sends me to clients, they're also confused, you know, because they're like, who told you she can be a model? You know, why would you send her to like these castings or to see these people if she's not what are we looking for? And she's not the size that we're used to see. She's pretty. You know, that was always a feedback. Like, she's pretty, but she's fat. You know, she's pretty. She has
How
a pretty...
did you feel about that?
To be honest, I don't think I ever had body issues until I started modeling. I grew up thinking, this is okay, right? Like, and I think because my mom, she also struggled with her body. If one thing she did, she was like, I'm gonna make sure my daughters don't get through the trauma I did. So she was like, you know, you're tall, own it. You have curves, own it. You know, you're like brown skin, amazing. So in my circle, it was a safe environment. You know, I was like, I knew it was different, tall, this and that, but I never thought it was an issue. So when I moved to Mexico and then I see all this rejection, I was like, oh, you know, I didn't knew it was an issue to, you know, to be brown and to be tall and maybe to not be skinny and to have some curves. And I was 16. So obviously you're still a kid, right? You're still developing, you're still growing up. So it was a very interesting environment to navigate, but I was just so excited that it didn't really bother me.
Did you feel it at the castings from the clients or from the feedback that your agent gave you?
I think both. Because a lot of the times they wouldn't say anything to me. And I so appreciate that because I think it's quite traumatic when some clients say it straight to your face. I might as well just don't know and, you know, they can make it up and it doesn't matter. But some clients were very straightforward. And I like to believe that it was not intentional, that it's just what we knew at the time and that it was something new that not everyone knew how to deal with it. and I happened to be the first, you know? So I was like, okay, here we go. You know, it was kind of like try and failing because they've just never seen it before. Or maybe they have seen it, but they just never accepted it. So when I was there, it was just very interesting navigating, you know, going to discuss things, knowing you're not gonna get it. You know, making these lines, knowing you're gonna get rejected. But I was so excited because someone thought of the idea of me that it could happen. So I was like, if it doesn't happen, it's okay. Someone thought it can happen.
What would you say was helping you keep going while knowing that something like that didn't exist before? And you don't know if it is going to work out.
I honestly think I was just excited to be there. You know,
just the process.
I was just like, I love this. You know, like I didn't use fashion at all. I didn't use heels. I didn't use makeup. You know, it was just kind of like, I don't know anything about this, but it's so appealing to me, you know, because I used to watch like these beauty things and it's so different, but I will love the runways, you know, like the hair, the makeup. So I was like, you know, this is kind of like a beauty content, but yes, but it's so different. So I was just excited to be there. I was there just for the vibes. You know, I was just like,
and very honest.
You don't have idea what's going on. You know, I'm like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you know, it doesn't. Like I didn't knew what fashion meant. I didn't knew what I can get out of this. I was just like,
having fun.
It's cool, you know, I think it's fine. Like, obviously when I get there, you know, and I get into a model's apartment and I see all these like beautiful women, I'm like, oh, I saw not look like them. And you can tell the difference. As much as I want to be inclusive and diverse, there is a big difference between me and them. So it's when I start picking up like what really the fashion industry was about, you know, like getting into a model's apartment and seeing the cover of a magazine and then seeing that girl in the apartment. I was like, oh, you know, this is how it works. Like you are in the cover of this magazine, like it's the same person. And, you know, but I didn't have an idea of that. I didn't knew anything. I just didn't knew anything, but I was just excited to be there.
I feel like that was your joker. Like you came there without any expectation, without any specific dream that could be broken because of the rejection. So you were just living the moment.
It was such a big strength to not have idea of anything, you know, because there were like no dreams to, you know, accomplish. There were not jobs that I wanted to do. I was just there, like they will tell me to go here, tell me what exactly to dress, how to do my hair, how to do my makeup, and I will show up. That's it.
Without
I was like, I don't know how to do anything of this. And when I get there and I meet my manager, Pablo, he was like, I just think it's in you. We just have to polish it. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I have never done a photo shoot. I don't even know how to walk in heels. And he was like, you're gonna learn, you know? So put a pair of high heels and just walk. And I was walking back and forth with the high heels. And then he was like, let's do a photo shoot. I'm like, what is a photo shoot? Let's do a digital. So I'm like, I have no idea about these things. He was like, just pose. And I was like, okay. And I just did it. And then obviously with time, you know, you polish and you get better. But it was just kind of like, try and then we'll see. Fake it until you make it without knowing you're trying, you know.
Yeah. And do you remember when was the first job you got, like the official one, when you were selected for something?
I did. So I went to Mexico City and I was there, I think, around 6 weeks, not longer. And around the third week, I got a department store campaign. And that was like
campaign was the first job?
That was like my first job.
Wow.
And that was major, you know, because it was like, oh, it's the first time they used like a plus size model. Bear in mind, I was like much more smaller than that I am now. But, you know, that was big. I was so excited because also it was so much money. You know, for me, it was like a 16-year-old. I was like, oh, I'm going to buy my mom a house with this money. You know, I'm like, I have no idea. And I booked that campaign and I was so worried because I'm like, I don't have an idea of what to do, what to expect, or do they know? And I was like, they don't need to know. So you just go, see what the other models do, and you do what they do. That was my school. Just go, see, and replicate what you see. And I did that. So that was like my first job.
We can tell.
That was my first job. And it was interesting because I was like, makeup, hair, clothes, it's entire new world. But I pretended like I knew, you know.
Wow.
So yeah.
We all do at the beginning.
I think it's interesting how you just like push and force yourself to deal with it without knowing what's going on.
I remember my first photo shoot. I mean, it was a test shoot back in Omsk in Siberia. It was a student, like designer student. So they put their clothes on me, and this photographer student as well. She started to photograph me, and I was just standing there, like, you know.
Yeah, what do I do?
And she was like going around me like, oh, beautiful, this is beautiful. Oh my gosh, she's such a great model. I'm like, okay, that's what modeling is.
That's what they want. That's what they want.
Yeah. But then when I started to travel, and I'm like, that's not only thing they need, they actually need me to move. So I did learn on the go.
Oh, I didn't move. Right? I was just like, you know, I will look at the models, but I was like, we don't, like, your body and my body is different. So as much as I try to imitate what are you doing, it doesn't translate in the same way.
So you have to find your own way.
I'm just gonna, you know, find. And I remember I would talk to the models. Not all of them were very friendly, which is very interesting, but I get it. You know, it's also like, at that time, they're telling you have to look in a certain way. And then someone comes across the door that looks so not like what they told you you need to look. So you're like, what are you doing here? You know, what, like, who told you belong here? But they will say, just practice in the mirror. So I did. So I was like, you know, if they say so, they know better.
Yeah.
And then later on, we became friends, and until now we're friends. But it's interesting how even, you know, the models that I was living with at the time, not all of them understood what I represented or, you know, the direction that I was trying to go, because it was just basically new.
I remember when I got first castings I attended, and there were plus size models, I was like, what am I doing here? Like, we're two different types. How are they choosing? Like, I didn't understand that back in 2015 when it just started. I think it was in 2015. So it was really, I was curious about the process.
I think it's such a fine line between try to understand and between being mean, which I think that fine line, it's very easy to cross. And listen, I get it. You know, I'm like, we've never seen, you know, something like this, but not because you haven't seen it, it means that it's not possible, or it means that it's not beautiful, or it means that it's not worth it, or it means that it's not worth to respect. So for me, that was very fun to see, because there is one thing that is just like, there is values and education done. We cannot, you know, it goes farther than like, how do you look? What do you represent? What do you stand for? There is such a thing as just have empathy for someone and not caring about someone.
Yes.
So for me, that was interesting to see and experience with other models, because I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing, and you're not making it easy for me. But also I understood that it was just kind of like new in Mexico. Like, we didn't have those references. So when I came into the picture, it was just new, you know?
I have two questions. First, when you saw your campaign published, how did you feel?
Oh, it was iconic, because also it was published in magazines. So I was like, oh my God, you know, like, I can't believe I
Was that the first work you saw of yourself?
That was my first work, my first job ever. Like,
yes, I know, first job ever, but you know, sometimes we do some work in between and we see it
I
early.
didn't do anything else.
No, that was
the only
one
thing I did
only
in Mexico.
Campaign, boom.
That was a campaign. Not because I didn't want it to. I thought after this, so many more that were gonna come, but it wasn't working that way. You know, it was kind of like one and done. We do one campaign a year with a model that it's a different size, done. Like, at the time, it was not like back-to-back clients doing beauty, doing fashion, doing shows. So it was like commercial, pretty, done, one. So that was my first job. I see in magazines, and I remember we went and got the magazine, and I sent a picture to my mom, and I felt so accomplished, and I was like, I think I can be a model. But that was my only job that I did in Mexico, which it leads to the second part, when my agent and I had a very honest conversation, and he was like, I think you're amazing. I think you really want to do this, and I think it can work whatsoever. I don't think Mexico is the right place just because they don't get it.
Yeah, right.
And
But what a wise man with a vision and like really brave to even try and to inspire you and push you to go further.
yeah, and to be honest, I think he was just trying to protect me a little bit because he just knew it was not gonna work.
Yeah.
At that time, you know, it was like,
But he wanted
girl,
to.
they're gonna crush me, you know, they're gonna keep coming at you. And as much as we try to, you know, change this and navigate this, it's too early for the industry here to get it. So I think it's better that you go try in a different country, and you know, you should go for it.
And you're
Thank God
16.
I'm 16. I was turning 16, kind of like end of the year, turning 16. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm so happy to be here in Mexico City. Like, why
Even
would
if I don't
go
work.
somewhere else? And he's like, it's just, you know, it's just not gonna work. And now looking back at that conversation, I'm like, he just knew it was not gonna work.
Yeah.
And it was just gonna be a constant
Rejection.
hurtful and struggle because it was just not
the right time.
You know, it was not the right time. And he just wanted to protect, you know, maybe my excitement of like, I can be a model. And then people coming at me and being like, you cannot be a model. So he was like, we should try it somewhere else's. And I think that will really work for you.
And was
It's not
New
in
York
Mexico.
the first choice?
So the first, so he was like, you're gonna come, we're gonna shoot. Once we shoot, I'm gonna submit this to agencies and then we go from it. And I'm like, again, no idea what's happening. I just show up. That night, we got my contract with my first agency here in New York and in London. That night, they both answered. They're like, we want to represent her. So he texts me at like 4 a.m. in the morning. He's like, are you up? Are you up? Are you
For
up?
him.
I'm like, what's going on? He's like, well, you just got a contract in the States and in Europe. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But
It's
in-
like, what does that mean? And he's like, well, it means that what are you doing here? You can do it somewhere else's. And I was like, no, there's no way. I just came more about my parents. Like, you know, there was just so much context in this story. But long story short, we did it. You know, I was like, okay, let's try.
So you went to New York first.
My first option was London because I didn't have a visa, right? So to get the work visa, it was just so many papers and things involved that I didn't have. You know, you need editorials.
We know that, girl.
You need editorials, you need jobs. I'm like, girl, I just have one job. And it was not, you know, something major. It was major for me, but it didn't mean anything
For
in the
visa,
fashion
yes.
industry.
Not enough.
Not enough. So he was like, we're gonna go London, work, do whatever it's needed to get your American visa, and then we'll do it. And I was like, okay, let's try it.
So you were in London for a bit, and
I
then
went in London. Yeah, I booked my first job.
Bravo.
So they signed me up. I booked a job. They signed me up on a Friday, and I had the next week a first job. So they were like, you need to fly to
Major.
London to do a job. And I was like,
Mama,
okay.
I'm going to London.
Bye. So went back home, had to talk to my parents of like what is happening, what it was like being in Mexico, you know. And obviously I think as a parent, when your kid comes and he's telling you, you know, people's telling me this and that, you're like, oh, you're not going anywhere. There's no way. Like,
Get those ideas
it's like,
out of your
it's
head.
like you're just coming back from a place where, you know, people was saying this and that, and you want to go to another foreign country where I didn't even speak the language. It's like, you don't even speak English. What are you going to do? And I was like, I just want to go. Please let me go. So we had a very deep conversation. And my parents were like, let's just let her go. But we're going to prioritize the school, right? Because I was at a school at the time. So they're like, you still have to look after your school. You're going to go. Also, they gave me the option to bring my parents with me. But again, we couldn't afford it. So my parents were like, it's just you. You know, if you want to go, it's just you, and you really have to.
Okay, I want to stop here and I want to make sure the audience understand she has to pay for herself
Yes.
to go, to stay in London, to be in London, to book for the job, to wait to be paid.
And not knowing if another job is
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have idea.
The
Also,
option-
didn't have idea. Now looking back,
People still don't have the idea unless you're deeply in the business. People think we get paid for everything. We just have to exist and blink,
yeah, yeah,
you know.
and not breathe and not have emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I didn't have idea, of course, right? So I was lucky enough that the client was like covering my flights and my stay for like, you know.
That's a direct booking job. That's
That was
something else.
Yeah, that
yes.
was like a direct booking. I didn't have to pay for flights. And then the agency set me up to live with a family because I was 16-year-old, right? So they're like, she's underage. We cannot have her with, you know, model apartment. We're gonna put her with a family. Your parents can come, but we didn't have money to do those things. So my parents were like, you're gonna go. They gave me like, I think like 3,500 pesos, which was nothing in euros. But in
like
pesos,
$30.
you can live with that, you know.
Yeah.
But that in pounds was like 200 pounds or something like that. But I thought,
You're
I'm
rich.
like, of course, London, a month. No, it was not even a month, but it was like back and forth. And I was like, what am I gonna do? And again, it was like, you're gonna go, you're not gonna tell them you just started. They know you're your new face, but you just go, see the model and leave. Do exactly what you see in the model. So I went from Mexico, from Guadalajara to London, and it was a very interesting experience because I didn't speak English, right? So I knew the bare minimum, like, hi, my name is Jocelyn from Mexico. I'm from Mexico. And yeah, I think, I honestly think that was it. So when I get to London, immediately after was my job, right? So I get there, they're like, oh, we're going here, you have a job. A booker came with me because obviously it's like, she's never been here. She's so young, she doesn't speak English. You need to go with her to the job. So she came with me. She was like, hey, this is makeup, this is hair, this is, you know, photographer, creative director. And I had no idea what everyone was doing there. I'm like, there's so many people. You know, I'm like, it's so many people. Massive studio, cameras. I was like, oh, this is so different than back home. And I just pretended again, you know, I wouldn't talk. Now I don't shout, right? I've been just like jabbing the entire time. But at the time I was just like,
Figuring things out.
just observing, trying to not so new.
But even if you wanted to talk, you didn't speak
I couldn't.
English.
Even if I wanted to, I couldn't, you know. So I was just like seated, admiring and looking.
And then, so that was a photo shoot, and your first show.
My
when you
first
did it,
show. I don't think I've ever did any shows in London, but my first show was here in New York, and it was a chroma show. And I came, it was my first fashion week. Again, have no idea what fashion week is. And they called me, my agents at the time, and they're like, we have like a major news. And they're like, you're gonna walk in New York Fashion Week. Bear in mind, at the time, it was only 2 models walking a show. You know, it was like a very new thing. No one has ever done it before. You're a new face and you're in, you know, it was like Candice and Tara and, you know, and you're the new face and you're gonna walk this show. And I'm like, what does that mean? Well, it's a show, you know, it's like, it's fashion week. And I'm like, okay, cool.
if you say so.
If you say so, yeah. So that was my first show, a Chromat. Chromat was my first ever show.
Do you
that I
remember
did.
what was going through your
Oh,
mind?
I remember
when,
everything. Every single thing. Because then, you know, obviously I started doing more research. You know, the more that you get in the industry, the more that you start to know, and the more, and I was always so tempted to learn about these things. So obviously when I'm here, I'm like doing the research. I'm like, what is this? What is that? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's major. Like, it's such a big deal. And I get there and then I see a model, like so many models that I used to like look up to. And I was like, oh my God, like this is a big deal. You know, they are here and I'm here with them. And everyone were so warm and welcome and friendly. And
different than...
Yeah, that really changed it. Everything. Also in London, you know, because you get on set and there is women that look like you don't get called in a certain way. The clothes fit you, you know, because I remember going to castings in Mexico and getting a pair of jeans that I'm like, I'm not even gonna try because it's obvious that I don't fit here, right? So when I was in London, it was completely different because once I went there, I just never stopped and everything always fitted and everything was always right. So it was same here, you know, it was like there was room for everyone. No one will make you feel uncomfortable. No one will make, you know, point at you. I mean, you know, sometimes, but
they still do.
Yeah, they still do.
Even
but,
you know, even for us, we still feel that why you're so skinny moment, right? And for you,
there's always something.
There's people who always talk.
Yeah, but it's not only business industry based. I feel it's human nature. People are sometimes crossing the line, no matter are you really a model? Because I never said to anyone that I'm a model, right? So they were not commenting that based on jealousy because I'm a model, you know, but they would comment, oh, you should eat more, or do they feed you at home and stuff like that, you know?
Favorite
right?
phrase.
And I still get that.
Jocelyn, how do you feel now that you're advocating for plus size models, for people to embrace their own uniqueness, right? And do you receive like messages on, I don't know, on your DM or something, is that affirm that what you're doing is right? Do you remember any stories that stand out for you?
I think I used to like not talk and, you know, be very shy, and I feel like people think I'm very, you know, out there, and I'm very out there when I work, but in my real life, I'm more like, you know, introvert. Like I get shy if I take too many pictures on the street, you know, I feel like when I get to work, I'm performing. You know, I create a different persona and she doesn't care about anything. Yes. But outside there, I'm like, oh no, actually, you know, I'm a little bit shy. I don't talk that much. I don't share a lot. And when I start sharing, I've realized how many women and kids and teenagers were following my story. And I understood the power that I had when I was sharing stories, when I was sharing, you know, the things that I was doing, my journey. Because I feel like people assume just because you have curves, you're so secure, and it's kind of like in the package, you know, that you love and advocate for your body. And I'm like, it's not always like that. Until now, you know, there's days that I wake up and I don't feel at my best, but that's just normal for any woman. You know?
It's a woman thing.
And I just think people forget and they assume because you advocate for a woman, you have your shit together. So when I start sharing more of like, you know, today I'm on set and I don't feel at my best, or today I wake up and my body's not what I expected and I don't love my body all the time, and I start getting feedback from like teenagers like me, and I was like, oh, I've just never realized how interested people were in what I was doing.
Because no one was talking about it.
And I think because back home we didn't have it. So when you see someone that it's doing something different than what you used to, you're it's appealing, it's interesting. So I think it's when I started realizing and sharing more, like, you know, about myself and the things that I'm doing. And it's beautiful until now to see how that has evolved from like 10 years ago when I started in the industry to what it is right now. And to see how there's, you know, rooms and how we all are changing part of the fashion history and just the industry. It has changed already, you know.
I was about to ask, the fashion is changing slowly, but it is changing. But what is the misconception or some myth about plus size girls that you would like disappears today after we air this episode, that such a misconception about body size like yours?
I just think we shouldn't be allowed to have an opinion about a body that is not yours. You know, I'm like, let's just not go more forward. If no one is asking you for your opinion about their body, you shouldn't say it. You shouldn't assume something about someone's body just because you never know. You know, it might be health issues, it might be just because they want it might be depression, it might be anxiety, you just never know what someone is going through. And I think it's very just not nice when people comment on someone's body because you have no idea and you have no rights. So especially when you're a plus size model, if you're too fat, if you're too curvy, if you're not curvy enough, you know, there's so many words that I'm like, why do you always have to bring them up? Why do you not just see me as a model? Why do we always have to talk about body diversity? Why do we always have to talk about how do I learn to love my body? Like, there's just so much more. So sometimes I just think it's funny, you know, it's when you got to backstage and they're like, what are you doing here? And you're like, oh, I'm a model. You know, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. I just feel like people assume so many things based on your looks. And I think that's very interesting.
Do you think that's education?
I think it's education. Because honestly, nowadays we have all kind of resources, tools, social media, Google. In less than 3 seconds, you can find out anything that you want. So I think sometimes we just have to be...
But it's interesting, you're going to backstage, so the person who is there is already in fashion and they do not expect you to be a model.
But you know what I also noticed lately, that as I'm getting older and when I get to backstage, sometimes I'm being asked, are you a model? You know?
Really?
Yes. So
It's so interesting. Because it's just based on looks.
So I'm not
Again,
17
everything
anymore.
is, yeah.
you know,
I might be someone else, I guess.
and sometimes I'm like, on a good day, I don't care.
Yeah, of
On a
course.
bad day, you question your entire life. You know, you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, you know, be modeling anymore. Maybe I'm not pretty enough. Maybe, you know, I'm not at the level of these girls. And I'm like, on a good
But
day,
who is setting up that level?
I think yourself, you know, because if we keep checking on everyone else's standards, you're never going to be enough. So I think it's just more like a you thing, you know.
Now that you're saying this, in my head, I'm back at Siriano's show when I saw her first time, right?
No doubts.
Come on, I mean, I was like, I mean, what else? You know, top and that's it. Because I didn't even look around. I was not aware there are plus size models and guys included in the show at that particular moment. But when you see her, I mean, there is no way she can be anything else but top model. You know, I don't know, maybe because I was in fashion or I see things differently, but
That's what we spoke about with Paul.
Yes,
That's about
exactly.
the proportions of the person.
Face and person,
Face, body, like everything together. That's what makes.
perfect. It's not you're skinny and that's you're pretty automatically, or you have a face and then you're a model. It's a package. You know, and when someone
An aura.
Yeah, an aura. But she had half eye with the makeup, so she was a little bit unproportional at this particular moment when I saw her. But I mean, there is no doubt she could be anything else but top model at that particular.
And Jocelyn, being this human being you said that you sometimes have the self-doubts, right? And people might not believe that someone as gorgeous as her can have these moments. Can you please tell us, how do you cope with these issues and how do you overcome when you're not feeling your best, when you're not exactly sure that...
I mean, to be honest, I think it's part of like human nature. You know, you're not always going to feel at your best, and that's just how life works, you know. So I think as I'm, you know, getting older and I get more emotional, mature, I understand what things work for me and what things also don't work for me, and how to really look after myself, and what is to look after myself means or look or feels like. So I think obviously when I don't feel at my best, I just go back to whatever makes me feel good, which is like, you know, my friends, my family, my home. Sometimes remembering my purpose, you know, what am I here for? I always say this, and I'm like, I work with the most beautiful woman ever. And, you know, I'm seated right next to two of them. And as much as I love fashion, an image can obviously change the world, but you're not changing the world just because you're pretty. There is so much more than just that. And I always try to remember that whenever I'm like doubting myself or not feel good enough. I'm like, what is my purpose? What am I really here for? What am I contributing to? What am I changing? What is my add-on into the fashion industry? Because if I die, I might as well have amazing stories and, you know, like a legacy that I want to leave and stand by. So I think sometimes it just comes more back to my roots, like how I started not having an idea, but now I do have more of idea of what I want to go, what I want to do. And I've already changed part of the history, like not part of the history, part of the industry back home. because no one was doing it.
Yeah.
And I was privileged enough to have amazing opportunities that have reshaped now the industry back home in Mexico. So I feel like whenever I'm not at my best, I just go back to, you know, my safe space. I go for a walk. I love traveling. Like, I take care of myself. I go for a massage. I sleep. That's like my favorite thing to do in the world. You know, I want to sleep. I find inspiration in things that really fulfill me.
Which are?
I think, is just, I have found, you know, through the years, what really brings joy to me. And I try to have more of a balance in life. Not everything is work now. And I also have like time for myself outside of the fashion industry. I love traveling. I love art. I have a lot of creative friends, so we reunite and do things just for the love of whatever we want to do. Because also a lot of the times I don't get to, you know, do what I want. And I wish I can have like these amazing shows and like have fun and shoot this and shoot that. But I don't have those opportunities yet. So I'm like, I call my friends and I'm like, I want to do this. I want to go crazy with hair. I want to go crazy with makeup. Can you help me do this? And that brings joy and it makes me feel grounded again. And I'm like, okay, ready to go. Let's go.
Do you feel pressure now after so many years doing a change? You are the change for the industry. Do you feel pressure sometimes? Because girls are looking up at you now.
To be
Which
honest,
is amazing.
I feel like I constantly keep having this conversation with my friends because I'm like, I'm not at a level that people is like upset if I do anything good or wrong, you know? I'm very lucky that I have a very nice group. Like I've developed a very nice community and they're super supportive with whatever I do. But sometimes I'm like, I think the pressure I put it on myself just because I want to get to certain levels and I want to perform at certain levels. And when that doesn't happen, I get upset, you know? But it's no one telling me, it's me. So whenever I feel pressure, I just like to believe that things will, you know, sooner or later happen because I always make sure they happen.
And you want to go higher and reach more and accomplish more. That's understandable. That's why you are here, because if you had no ambition, you wouldn't be.
And I think it's important that you start to see your career as your business and invest time in it. So now everything I do, it's like a piece in a big puzzle because I know it might not pay off now, but I know sooner or later it's going to pay off in a way that it's going to make me feel good. So I'm always trying to do things that make me feel good, not just to, you know, grow my career, because I think it's just so much more than, you know, just being a model and be pretty or hot or perform well. There is just so much more that involves that. So I always just try to, you know, I'm learning this, like I've learned English, I'm learning, I take this class, I look after my body, I travel, I know, I do my research. And I think that it's also important because when you want things, you will do everything to make them happen. And I'm sure you guys, you know, can know, you have no resources, you don't have money, you don't have anything, but you really want it. And then you start to know and you start to push towards those things and they pay off sometimes, not always, but most of the times. I like to believe that when you invest time in things that make you feel good, there's no way they're not going to work. Because you're doing it just for the love of doing it.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't even have explanation why we want to do it, what is pushing us, what is the power behind this desire. And then later on, you see it was a part of a bigger plan that you did intuitively pushing yourself.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Just seeing how, you know, I started when I was 16, I'm 26 now. And I have grown in the industry and, you know, I'm like, there's so much more that I don't know. There's so many things that I still have to explore, but I think it has to be a balance, you know, and you're not always working, right? You have a persona, you have emotions, you have stories. And sometimes when you get to share those stories, the human that you see beautiful, it becomes into something much more special,
complex,
and amazing. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But I see it with everyone, you know, there's so much more than just a model. We just have to hear each other, because every single woman that I know has something to tell, you know, but sometimes they're not given the space to do it. But the industry is full of fab humans. And I think that's beautiful that we get to share and talk to them and learn about them.
So this is exactly my thoughts. A couple years ago when I was dreaming about the platform when girls like you or our guests have a platform to share the story, because we don't hear the story. And there is a belief that you are a model, shut up, be beautiful and pose.
Yes.
You know, and people are interested to hear the story, but where and how?
But also, I feel like a lot of models shy, or there's other reasons, but they are kind of cautious about going out and speak, especially from older era.
Because we did not have platforms in social media where that was very often and common and normal thing. It's becoming. Back then, we were all mute. You know, they didn't even ask you, are you hungry, are you cold?
I know.
Now
I
it's
think
different.
that's why things like this are important, you know, because obviously you're saying it, you guys didn't have those platforms, and the fact that you're creating a safe space for anyone in the industry to feel welcome and come and talk, I think it's beautiful and it's needed.
It's
because I think fashion with purpose goes farther than just a beautiful image or a beautiful moment, or, you know, it's fab, it's amazing, and it's a fantasy, right? That behind that fantasy, there's a purpose, and there is an entire team that created that fantasy. And if we hear those stories, if we put voices to these people that make these things happening, or the models, industry just becomes so much better.
Yeah, it starts to gain soul, right?
Yeah, and it's
not just
meaningful.
pure image.
It's meaningful. So I'm like, it's beautiful that, you know, we get to share these moments. It's beautiful that every model now builds their platform however they want to. You're free to talk anything you want to. You can post anything you want to. It's that sense of freedom that
It is.
I
think models are more free nowadays than at our time.
Which it should be that way. When you know, every time I hear like these crazy stories, I'm like, oh girl, there's no way I will allow that to happen nowadays. And also I think it's important to like just speak up whenever you're in a situation where someone is not being treated right, when someone is being disrespected. We need to speak up, you know, because that's what makes the industry rich and fun and interesting. And obviously you hate it and love it sometimes. Not always it's amazing, but if we don't talk and we don't speak up, if we don't stand by what we really care, or rights or this and that, who's gonna do it? Yeah. And I think now we're in the perfect timing to do it.
Yeah, and thank God it changed, because now you at least not afraid to do it anymore. Because before, if you say something, you're out. Maybe that's why some people are still like, oh,
I think it's still nowadays. I think until now, you know, I don't talk a lot in social media. Because I think, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, they don't care. And then when I talk, they're like, you should talk more. But what I mean with this is that I think sometimes you get so caught up, and I say it for myself, like sometimes I get so caught up in like my life and the things that I want to go, and I work and I do this, and then I forget to share part of like my experience. And then whenever I do it, I'm like, oh, this is what it really matters. You know, people wants to know. Like I can be sat down for hours here listening to you guys' stories. Like I will sign up for it. And I think also that's why people find models now more approachable.
Yes.
Because they've realized that you and me are just the same human.
Yeah.
We struggle with the same stuff.
Yes. We might look different.
Yeah.
Color-wise, size-wise, eye colors.
But we have the same issue.
Exactly.
You know, like I get insecure, you get insecure as well. Like maybe we have the same backgrounds. Mm-hmm. Maybe we share some stories.
But there are stories, like every model that I talk to about the beginnings and struggles, there are so many bullet points that are exactly the same.
No matter where you're from.
No matter where you're from, no matter what era you are active, no matter how you look, there are many factors. I would say 50% of our stories are the same.
Which I find
I mean, you're 15 years younger than me.
Amazing.
15 years later, your career started. I listened to your story and I felt it because it was 70% matching my story. But just 15 years earlier, other side of the world.
Isn't it that crazy? Because I'm like, first of all, I'm an advocate for women. I love women. I think woman is the most beautiful thing that ever happened in the world, period. So I'm like, all these incredible young teenager women travel the world not knowing and not having the right resources and make it work. How
Brave.
incredible, amazing, badass is that? It's hard to put that into perspective, you know, because I'm like, you guys make it look so cool and easy and effortless, but no one really knew when you didn't have money to eat. No one knew when you didn't know you couldn't afford a 2-pound coffee. You know, like there's so much context that people sees that, you know, oh, you guys created this platform and you're two icons of the industry and you guys did the most incredible stuff. But we really don't know everything that went down and how many times you felt mistreated or disrespected or didn't know what you was doing did or questioned.
Still happening.
Or question,
Still happening.
Why am I doing this? And the fact that until now, these stories keep repeating, thank God, with more freedom and more control over, you know, the industry. It's incredible. I'm like mesmerized by that. You know, every time I work with someone, I'm like, you make it look amazing and no one will have an idea what you're dealing with.
And so many girls are looking at you thinking exactly the same thing. Do you have any advice? I don't like word advice, but some message for girls 16 sitting in Mexico, Colombia, China, Serbia, Siberia, whatever.
From Mexico to, it's such a long way.
But
Wow,
it's the
I
same
love it.
thing.
Yeah.
It's same thing,
Same
similar
young girls.
dreams. You know, what message do you have for them?
Just trust your own timing, but put the work in it. Because you can have so many dreams and I can sit here and tell you can do them. But dreams without work and dedication become nothing, right? So I'm like, if there is any dream you want to accomplish or if you want to become that person in any industry that you want, you have to put the work in. I do think it's so important to stay true to yourself because that's what's going to open doors, you know. Work hard, be grateful, have empathy for people will always take you to farther places.
Have you ever considered losing weight just because so many people told you to?
Have I always considered losing weight?
Trying to be someone else that you're not because of the pressure and because of
course. I think it comes with the job. You know, every time there's a new trend, there is a new something, at some point you're gonna get caught up in it. So obviously, I remember when I started modeling, I used to wear padding to look bigger. That was normal. The client will ask you to come, bring your padding, put your pads in the hips, so you give the size that they wanted. That was normal. And every single model that I knew that it was more in the smaller size, like me, like a 12, 14 size, will bring the padding and put it. And then in one time you're questioning, should I put more weight? And then you're like, not really. But then it's like, but if I lose more weight, you know, so I feel like it's always going to be this
never
fight
enough
between, should I do it? Should I not do it? That's why I think it's so important to stay true to yourself, because you get crazy. Every time something new comes, are you gonna do it? Sometimes, you know, something new comes in, are you gonna change your body?
And everyone have their own opinion about
There's
you.
so many opinions.
Yes.
So if you don't have a solid opinion, not a solid opinion, if you don't have the self-worth that it's needed, girl.
Forget it. I remember we did castings, fittings for one show. I'm not going to mention which one.
We want names.
Names. They used to put like bandeau or whatever to make our chest flat.
Every year for that casting, we would do the same. All the girls, every single girl.
And it hurt. And I mean, my chest is not big.
But that's what I mean. I'm like, if you're certain size, they will do it to you. And
Can
if
you
you're
be
in the
smaller
other
than us?
extreme, they will also do it to you.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, you cannot flip from one side to another side just because someone is asking you to do it. And I think I've learned that through the years, you know, because I'm like, I wanted to do all these editorials, and then everyone was, oh, but she's too sexy, she's too this, she's too pretty, I'm like, a model is a canvas, and you need to see her in like so many different.
It's your job to transform,
you know, and
right?
if you cannot see that, that's not on me. I know I can give it, but that's not on me. But I'm not gonna change my entire persona to fit into where you're looking. But I didn't have this mentality when I started, right? If you told me to wear my hair this way, I will wear it. If you told me to dress this way, I will do it, because that's how the industry work, or at least how I was getting. I never felt the pressure to do, but I was guided in a certain way because I didn't have an idea.
But also we had to follow some rules in order to fit in there and start learning and feeling it. If you don't wear black back then, we had to wear black
jeans, and
you couldn't even go to the casting, right? But that's a little bit different than like, oh, put the weight on, lose the weight, or.
But I think it does have the same bottom, you know.
If you
don't have a strong will and power of choosing what is really right and what you really want for yourself, rather than what someone else is telling you to do, then that's different, you know.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to feel what is wrong to know what is right for you.
I fully get it. And I think, you know, when it comes to like weight and body image, I think it's such a complex topic to talk about it. I'm just like, anything that makes you truly feel happy, just go for it. You know, it's your body. You know better than anyone else's. And some people will get it, some people will not. But when you're so much more than just the model, it makes sense, you know, because you will stand by that, and people know they cannot mess with you. So,
Jocelyn, what do you think your 16-year-old Jocelyn would say when she sees you now?
I was thinking about it right now, because I'm like, I was saying it's a full circle moment, because like watching you guys in the catwalks and now seated having this conversation, I'm like, it's iconic for me, you know. Maybe no one else is gonna get it, but I get it. And if you know, you know. So I think she's just like screaming internally, you know, because she's like, no one will know we'll get to these places. I wouldn't even imagine. Obviously now I have dreams and there's things I want to accomplish, but this has grown through the years. But when I started, I didn't dream about anything. Everything that was happening was like amazing. You know, I thought, wow, this is the best thing ever happened to me.
What was the job? Yeah, she's happy. She must be happy.
So she's like screaming. She's like, what are you doing? And whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
What was the job when she was the happiest so far?
What was the job when she was the happiest? I mean, there's so many that have become very special, but shooting with like Patrick the Marchelier for me was like iconic, you know, because again, I grew up seeing all these like major models doing it, shooting with him. And also I think my first job, I had a break in the fashion industry for about 3 years. Very long story short, I had a car accident. I was like, I'm never gonna model again. I don't think this is for me. I have a lot of scarring from it. So I thought, you know, it's over. I'm not pretty enough anymore. It's just not gonna work. And the first time that I was back on set and that I felt so back to like what I really loved, I was like, this is what it's my passion. I do believe it's my passion. So it was a very special moment, because it's when you realize that you care about things that people don't even see about you. So, you know, so it's this reinsurance of like, don't be too hard on yourself, because no one else know what you're struggling with. And you might think this is, you know, important, and they don't even see it. So that was also like a major moment for me, just to know and have this reinsurance that as long as I want to keep doing it and it makes me happy, I can do it, no matter what I look like, no matter if my body has changed it or if I have changed it, because I'm so much more than just what they see.
If you could collaborate with any brand or designer, who would it be, and what message do you want to send with the campaign working with them?
I would love to work with John Galliano. I think he is a brilliant mind, and I love and adore his designs. I can thank so many designers, you know,
Of
like
course.
Thierry Mugler. Like sometimes I wish I was born in a different time, but then I'm like, oh girl, it wouldn't be possible for
Yeah.
you. You know, you will have no shoot. But I would love to work with John Galliano. I would love to work with Daniel Rosenberg, Schiaparelli. I would love to work with Alaya. You know, there's so many brands that I think they're so iconic and so beautiful. And I'm waiting for the call. Whenever they
Yeah.
want size diversity,
Yeah.
you know, we're
Okay,
there.
soon. And after that call and after that job, you're coming back to tell us
I
how.
would love to.
And now let's play the game.
We have
Because
game.
the
She has
time
to
is-
go.
Yeah.
We have so many questions. She's gonna come again.
So
We
we're
need
going
part two.
To play the game, this or that, you just
Okay.
have to pick an answer.
Answer. Okay,
The one you
amazing.
like the most. Heels all day or sneakers with everything?
Sneakers with everything, but give me the heels. Once in a while.
Glam photo shoot in Paris or sweatpants and tacos day at home.
Glam photo shoot in Paris, and I'm Mexican, so
Spicy margarita or matcha latte?
matcha latte.
Runway chaos or 12-hour shoot with snack breaks.
Runway cows. I love shows. Give me the cows. I love it.
Group text overload or phone always on do not disturb?
If you know me, my phone is always on do not disturb, and I don't have people to add me on group chats. So
I hope I want to be Jocelyn when I grow up and have phone do not
I
disturb.
believe in do not disturb.
Me too.
Statement earrings or zero jewelry, just white.
Statement earrings, big pieces.
Being mistaken for another model or accidentally walking into the wrong show?
Accidentally walking into the wrong show.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
And they did full hair on me.
Oh my god.
Tool Beach sunrise or New York rooftop at sunset.
Beach sunrise.
Full glam in the morning or bare-faced beauty all day?
Oh, it's so hard because I feel like I'm both girls. You know, I love nothing, and then I love everything.
One day
I have
that-
no in between. It's either
Same.
everything or nothing. My in between, it doesn't exist.
It's a bipolar.
It's bipolar. I love it. You know, I'm like, she looks fabulous when she needs to look fabulous, and when she doesn't need to look fabulous,
She's
She's
fine
still
with that.
fabulous.
Yeah,
She's still fabulous.
yeah. So
Without
I take
glam.
both. I
Yeah.
take both.
I agree. Shooting in a tropical jungle or walking in a freezing New York Fashion Week tent.
Oh, this is hard. I think I will prefer the hotness, no matter where it is.
Okay, another one we have to pick now. Flowy goddess energy or boss lady vibe?
Oh, Boss Lady vibe for sure.
So Jocelyn, thank you so much for being so open, so grounded, and just talk about fashion with an identity and self-love with such heart. It's really rare to meet a person like you. We're really happy and fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, serious, your energy is contagious, and I'm so grateful and thankful that we had this opportunity to have you here to share your story with our listeners and the story of a woman like this, model, muse, movement maker, changer, dreamer. I mean, thank you so much.
And to our audience, thank you for tuning in and taking this journey with us. And if you enjoyed this episode and it made you think, feel, or just made you smile, please leave a comment, write a review, subscribe.
We have so many stories coming up your way, so keep your heels high, standards even higher,
And stay tuned for the next episode of Fashion Host Podcast.
yes, coming your way.
Because fashion changes.
But the real stories, good stories like this, they're always with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.